Welcome my peeps, my peoples. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'll be greatly appreciated. It's Mary Jane. Let's talk about Basketball Wives Season 7, Episode 10. This episode, talked about two most important things about, Puerto Rico not getting enough the assistance they need to, help them, and they're part of the United States. It's just like the government, the president just turned their back on Puerto Rico like they don't even exist, like there ain't no tragedy over there. And then also, Malaysia talking about, losing her brother and having her brother being taken out of this world because he was reaching in his pockets. The cops thought he had a gun, and his life being taken away, and there's no justice for her brother, and she'll never get justice for her brother. She'll never feel at peace for that, because if you look over and over and over, time and time again, we have young black males being murdered, being assassinated by cops, and taking them out, and they're having no repercussions for it. Nothing happened to them, and it just keeps happening and happening. And then actually Malaysia talking about she has a phobia, she has actually a syndrome, a condition, being afraid of the police. And I talked to a doctor about this, and this doctor said this actually exists, and actually sometimes we don't even know that we have this phobia or this type of not being diagnosed, that being afraid of the police, being scared, being nervous, being anxious, because you don't know what they're gonna do to you, and you really don't have any protection or anybody to come out there to help you, or anybody on your side, because it's like they're the be all, the end all of law. And that's why we have to protect ourselves, protect our community, and film, record. When you see black people being pulled over, or anybody that's of melanin, take your phones out, record, because that's all they're going to have. And now today, they're not even really awarding families of victims of, the police, taking out their family members. They're giving them $4 now. There's no big, bag anymore. Even though the bag doesn't really matter because you lost somebody that you love, but it helps along the way, especially for funeral costs, assistance with seeing psychiatrists, seeing therapists, and things like that. So let's get into the episode. Jackie and Reggie, they out ring shopping. Not ring shopping at this point, but they're at the farm, and it was someplace weird. And Jackie's asking Reggie, does he like animals and things like that? He goes, dogs. And Jackie was like, yo, listen, we can have this goat or this animal be the ring barrier and bring the ring, hold the ring and everything. He was like, nah, I'm not feeling that. He was like, you want this animal to be the ring barrier when it's actually licking his ass right now? Come on. He was like, nah, Jackie, I ain't feeling this. No. He ain't hearing it. He ain't feeling it. It ain't for him. He only likes dogs. And then they actually, practice, Reggie proposing to, Tammy, bending on one knee and things like that. He was like, I got arthritis, I got some issues going on in my body. So I would like to be sitting down, but, he gets on one knee. Jackie's happy about it. She's happy to be asked, to assist Reggie and, actually coming up with this proposal for Tammy. And that's a good honor too as well. And so they end the situation well, but it was funny. He was like, I like dogs. He was like, no, I don't want no animals. And so we get Evelyn. She actually has a grandpa, and she's happy to have her grandpa around because, she doesn't have Carl Carfin anymore. He left her. He disappeared. And actually having a man around makes her feel better, makes her feel more secure too as well. And her grandpa has not always been in her life because, she just recently found out that she had a grandpa. And, her mom now knows who her father is. That's really good. That's a good situation. And they're going to go to Puerto Rico. And they're going to show us the devastation in Puerto Rico, which is sad, which is terrible that our country is not doing what it's supposed to do. Well, when do United States do what they're supposed to do? Come on. None of these cops are facing any type of charges. And I recently just did a video about, cops in Florida actually just framing any and everybody that was black. That was just so they can meet the quota and keep their case records down, So moving on from that, Evelyn, she's with her mom, she's with her grandpa. They go to Puerto Rico, and they show restaurants and just the devastation of things just not happening, just not working. But actually she gets to see her childhood home, and it's actually still working. It's actually still up and running, and it has electricity, so they're actually okay. But the rest of the place doesn't look okay too as well. And Evelyn is loving this moment because she's spending time with her family. Her grandfather's dancing with her mother's, like the father and daughter dance that they never had. So So it's a cute situation, and also bringing attention to what's going on in Puerto Rico too as well, and also bringing attention to, you know, a lot of people don't know who their father is. A lot of people, you know, don't know, and you know, and how important family is. And Evelyn's realizing that all the petty shit is not even that important anymore. She actually goes to the Boys and Girls Club, and she gives out sneakers and she gives out clothes to the young ladies. So I was like, damn, what about the boys too? Why not just give sneakers and outfits to boys and girls? Evelyn, you got a son? Like, damn, give it to both. You know, I ain't giving nothing, but damn, you should don't let the boys feel left out too. Like, do it for both of them. Do it for all the children that's at the Boys and Girls Club. I let the people at the facility pick out, you know, boys and girls to receive something from, because, you know. So then moving on from that, we also learned that Evelyn is not really good at speaking her language. You know, it's kind of, she speaks very broken Spanish. She hasn't been using her Spanish often. So that situation's over. Kudos to her for, you know, going to Puerto Rico and helping out them children. And actually telling a story that her mother didn't even know her father. So moving on from that situation, we have Malaysia. You know, she's with her sisters and everything, and she's actually talking about the phobia that she does have, about, you know, and how she's scared of the police, because the police took her brother Dante and killed him and took his life, you know, because they assumed that he had a gun, because they were scared and they was afraid. And, you know, and we just hear these stories over and over about the cops, you know, killing young black males that are unarmed and just not facing any, you know, there's nothing out there for them to face. It's like they can just shoot and kill unarmed black males, and it's just okay. It's just, oh, it's good. They keep their job, they keep their pension, they keep working until they assassinate and kill the next person. So it's just really sad to see. You can see how hurt she is and how sad she is, and then also just to see her cry, that this is deep, that this is not, this shit ain't for TV. It's just to bring the light to the situation. Plus the LAPD is one of the worst police forces known to man, and oh my goodness, just so awful. And, you know, she's never going to get justice for that. You know, them murdering her brother, you know, nothing that was going to come about it. They live in their best life. They live in their good life. And they just killed this man because they assumed some shit. Imagine if you could just go around killing people because you assume some shit. It's like, it's really messed up. She wants to talk to her son about the situation, about how to deal with the police, because, you know, she's afraid of him wearing hoodies and things like that, and just traveling on his own, because, you know, people might think that her son is an adult and just kill him. And that's very true, because, you know, there's plenty of videos that are in my playlist where cops are assuming that these young black kids are like 16, 17, and like 12, 10, 9, and treating them like they're grown men. And people don't have sympathy for young black males. Like, they think that young black males, oh, they're like equivalent to a man, they look like a man, or they're not a child. But when it comes to Caucasian children, oh, that's just little Bob, that's just little Billy. You know, they consider them still children when they're 9, 8, and 10. But when it comes to black kids, oh, that's a grown man, that's a teenager, that's an adult. You know, they don't have the sympathy for young black children. And she's scared. She's scared for her children. She's scared for her sister's children, her friends' children. I'm scared for everybody that has children, that have black cousins, black nieces, nephews that are males, your next door neighbors, kids that you work with, kids you go to school with, kids you see at the bus stop, because you never know when, you know, the cops is gonna pull up on them and feel like, you know what, I'm gonna take them out today, and then by the end of the day I'll be home, I'll be on paid leave. You know what I mean? So that's a real big situation where I just think African Americans and people, melanin, indigenous people, and everybody to start pooling money together to fight against this, you know, justice system, where if something does happen to a loved one, there's some type of fund, so we can actually try to get some justice and support from the family members too as well. And also having like a police watch where people go around and they video camera and they record when cops are pulling over African Americans or pulling over people that are indigenous or have melanin, just to make sure they leave the scene safe. And if something happens, you know, they have their video camera, because usually I don't trust, you know, the body cam. They can change it. You know, we've seen shows and TV shows about them changing the body cam, or the body cam is not working. So sometimes your cell phone comes in very handy. And so she's really distraught about it. And then she's also describing like a phobia of the police. People wonder why African Americans or black people run from police. They're distrusting of police because they see what the police come to do in their community. They wreck their community over and over and over, how they treat people, how they just commit crimes in their neighborhood and do all types of, fugazi things in the neighborhood where, they don't see the cops as a helping hand. They see the cops as the enemy, because just like, whoever that's a criminal or low down or dirty in their neighborhood, they see the cops as the same way. So, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So we have that situation. And then, Malaysia's just scared because she lost her brother. It's really sad. And then we have Jennifer and Christian. They meet up. Jennifer, she's really sad. She's really scared. She really wants to get this, restraining order to be permanent against, Tim from Sweetie Pies, and she's really going in on this, and she's just upset because she's feeling lonely because she doesn't have Evelyn to go with her, because Evelyn is going to Puerto Rico, and so she's kind of like guilt tripping Christian into going, and Christian was like, I'll go with you if you feel lonely or whatever, or you want to feel safe. And then also, Jennifer does throw in, Christian also asked Jennifer, hey, listen, so what's going on with the situation when you're in Malaysia? And it's just like Jennifer didn't want to answer that question, so she skipped past that question. She was like, I'm just dealing with a lot. I just got a lot going on. I'm trying to get this restraining order. I don't want to go to court. I'm scared and all this other stuff. But she doesn't want to deal with the question that Christian is asking her about Malaysia, to tell Malaysia, like, hey, listen, Malaysia's probably upset with me because, I tried to use her as a vessel to get this propaganda and this rumor out about Evelyn sleeping with, Tammy's husband, Shaquille O'Neal, and ex-husband Shaquille O'Neal, and it didn't work, and I was going to use your cousin Malaysia to do that, or your cousin-in-law Malaysia to do that, but she didn't say anything. She didn't do anything. Now she found out that it was a rumor and it actually wasn't true. So Jennifer's not even being open and honest with Christian. So how can they have a true real relationship? And Christian, you're getting played because she just skipped past that question like you wasn't good enough for her to answer. She just skipped past you and was like, hey, I need somebody to go to court with me. I need somebody to film with me. God damn it, I ain't got no friends. And Christian, she feels a certain type of way. She feels sad. She feels like, oh, she needs help. She's going through this situation. She's going through so many different situation, so let me be there to support her. She's losing friends. Yeah, she's losing friends because of her own malice, hateful, trying to get back and be revengeful, behavior. So she lost, she doesn't have Tammy anymore as a friend too as well. And she doesn't have, Shawnee as a friend too as well because of the rumor. And now she doesn't have Malaysia as a friend too as well. So now she's only down to Evelyn and she's down to you, Christian. So, she's going to try to be nice to you. She don't want to tell you her true color. She don't want to tell you that she was upset and she was mad and she wanted to break up the friendship between Evelyn and Shawnee. And, she was going to, by any means necessary, but we'll see. We see next episode, Jennifer's going to be like, yo, listen, I got some information. People want to play dirty. They want to talk crap. I got some information on my old burner phone. Just like she said, she had an old burner phone to go after Tim to get a permanent restraining order on the blog. So Christian's just getting played like dust. And so we get we have Jackie. Jackie is actually ring shopping with Reggie. She's picking out these rings. The rings look nice. She picked out a really nice ring. And, he's really happy. It's just like, damn, Jackie was like, yo, look at this ring. This ring is beautiful. And they're really just loving it. So, Reggie gets a ring for, his fiance. And now we have Jackie. She's out, actually. She meets up with Malaysia. Malaysia looked beautiful this episode. All the ladies look beautiful this episode, but she really stood out. And I love Tammy's silver fingernails. Tell me them silver fingernails wasn't on point. And so now we get to, Malaysia and Jackie. They're actually meeting up. And then Jackie and Malaysia are talking. And then, Malaysia's actually like explaining her phobia for the police and being scared of the police. And that is really truly a thing, to be scared and fearful of the police, because it's like the boogeyman. It's like the boogie monster. It's like a nightmare. It's just like you got, nightmares running around, driving up and down the street, especially if they harmed you, especially if they scared you, especially if they did you in. It's scary. You know what I mean? So and Jackie was like, I ain't no counselor, but sounds like you need help. It sounds like, like it's a phobia. Like when you're scared of spiders, you're scared of mice, when you're scared of rats, when you're scared of the dark. That's what it sounds like. What Malaysia and Malaysia has to break this conversation down to her son and talk to her about the police, and she doesn't want him to wear hoodies and things like that because she is afraid that, they can't see his face. They won't know that he's a child. He might get killed. And she didn't want to take that chance. And Jackie was like, I totally understand. Like, that's why I go everywhere with Doug. I'm always in Dougie's business. I'm afraid for that too as well, because anybody can be touched by the police. It doesn't matter. We just, I can't think of his name. He was just going into his house recently, and the police then held him at gunpoint in his house. Famous actor from Baby Boy. He was actually Tyree's father. Can't think of his last name. Is it Vang? I can't think of his name right now. So it can happen to anybody. It don't matter whether you're rich or poor, but it happens to you more when you're poor because nobody really cares, and then they feel like you don't have the legal representation or to help you, with a legal case. But it has to be the DA that brings the case against the court, and the people that's in the DA actually been working with the police officers for years, so they're like all friends, so it's hard to get justice in that situation. And so they're thinking about having an event or something to get the message out there about the police officers and use their platform for something like that, other than fighting each other and yelling and screaming and nonsense. So that's a really good, especially in LA. The LAPD ain't no joke. So they have that conversation and it was cool. Then they move on from that, and so now we get Reggie, Tammy, and her daughter's actually outside barbecuing. Reggie is cooking. Tammy's questioning whether the beef's supposed to be with the fish, whether that's a good idea, and this and that. And she seems like she was like, so how's everything, how's the proposal, and how's everything going with with Jack? He was like, everything's good, but she wanted to use a farm animal and stuff like that. She was like, no. So Reggie was like, I was telling her no too. No farm animals, no animals in the wedding. The daughter's like, it's kind of cute, Mom. They were like, no. She, Tammy's like, I want regular, but she's still feeling like she's not really thrilled. And she was like, you got the ring, Reggie? Reggie was like, yeah, I got the ring, baby. I'm going to carry. And they was like, you should lock it up in the safe. Reggie was like, I'm going to just carry it everywhere with me. And so we get Jackie and Tammy. They meet up, and Tammy's actually just telling Jackie that I don't know if I want to marry Reggie right now. Not that she getting cold feet, not that she don't love him, but because she can't give him a child right now, that she feels like it's unfair to him. She's not able to have a baby right now, that he doesn't have any children, she does have children, and she don't want to be selfish. That's some real shit where she don't want to be selfish. She told Reggie over and over, but Reggie's like, no, I don't care. And they've been trying to have a baby, and her daughters can have the baby for her actually. Well, she can use her daughter's eggs, but that's really weird, I know. So, or a surrogate. So, she's feeling like, damn, I don't want to rob this guy, and I don't want this guy to, regret me or hate me, or just think that I stole something from him. I stole him being a father from him. I took something from him, and that's the way that she feels. And Jackie was like, well, get him to sign an agreement. She was like, still, it's not that. It's just that I don't want to rob him of that. And who knows when he's going to get that feeling where he's really going to want to have children, and I can't give it to him. So she's thinking about it like she's in limbo because of that. So we'll see how that goes. And we got Malaysia. She sits down with her son. She tells him about the police, what happened to their uncle, about how she is afraid about him. She's in fear when he wears a hoodie. She's just trying to tell him not to wear the hoodie because of the police. And police took his uncle, and trying to explain. He was like, it's really weird. When I say when you see the police, you keep your hands up. He was like, this is really weird. Yeah, because we are taught. I remember when I was a kid, we were taught, oh, the police are good. Talk to the police. You can't do that shit. You stay away, you might get killed. He might get jumpy and nervous, especially if he's sniffing. So, the kid seemed really like, okay. He was just like, word. But, he felt uncomfortable. He didn't understand because he's a child, but he's going to get it. And I'm pretty sure she didn't talk to him, and the husband didn't talk to him. But what's up when Malaysia was like, yo, listen, I got the kids for me for spring or summer or whatever. Like, the kids don't live with her full time. Or do her and her ex-husband, share 50-50 custody. So it's good. Anyways, peace. I'm out.